Have you ever gone down the highway and you put your address to get to your destination into the GPS and you don't see any traffic on the highway, but the GPS is telling you need to get off at this exit because there's traffic up ahead, but you can't see any traffic up ahead? So what do? Do you trust what your eyes could see and continue on the road, or do you trust the GPS and get off the exit? Well, obviously if you're smart, you trust the GPS, because the GPS has a bird's eye view and it can see down the road what you cannot see. Well, the very first GPS, which really stands for not global positioning system, but God's positioning system, is in this week's Torah portion. When the Jewish people traveled in the desert, the Torah says, Al pi Hashem yachnu v'al pi Hashem yiso. The Jewish people rested by the word of God and they traveled by the word of God. How was that? It was the clouds of glory, and when the clouds of glory moved, the Jews knew it was time to travel on. When the clouds of glory rested, they knew it was time to stop and rest in that position. And this is a metaphor for all of our lives. God leads us on our personal journey, and wherever God leads us, that's where we need to be at that time. You know, there's a famous verse in Psalm 23. Psalm 23 begins, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack." And the second verse says, which means God lies me down beside lush pastures. He leads me to tranquil waters. And what King David is saying is sometimes in life we don't want to stay in one position. We want to travel on. But God says, no, let me lie you down here because this is lush pastures for you. And sometimes it's the opposite. We want to stay in one position and God says, no, I need to lead you to tranquil waters. It's trusting God's positioning system to lead us to where we need to be, and knowing that wherever we are at that moment, that's what we need to be. There's a lot of anxiety and stress in life today because we all lead very busy lives. And with the fast pace of life, we could also very times lose our confidence as things are moving so quickly. And therefore this verse reminds us a very important lesson. That wherever we are, don't be stressed, don't be anxious. Just calm down, relax, trust in God's plan for your life. Imagine a woman who's traveling on a trip and she has to take 5 different buses to get to her destination, and then 5 buses to get back home. At the end of the day, she's exhausted. She's been on and off buses waiting at different stops to get to where she needed to go. But if at the end of the day you asked her, how was your day? She would say, it was a very long and stressful day. But imagine if this lady was carrying a little baby with her in her arms, and you would ask the baby, how was your day? The baby would say, it was a very peaceful, calm day, because I was always in my mother's loving arms all along. So too in life, no matter the fluctuations and the ups and downs, if we could always remember that we're in God's loving arms, in His embrace, then we could always maintain the inner calm and tranquility. Rabbi Steinsaltz, one of the great rabbis of our generation who just passed away recently, was once in New York and came to visit the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And the Rebbe asked him, are you here with your wife? And he responded and said, no, ich bin gekommen allein, which means I came alone. The Rebbe looked at him and said, a Yid is kemel nicht allein, a Jew is never alone. The Eibishter, God, is always with and traveling along with the Jew. Every one of us, if we could only remember constantly that God is with us, we would never feel alone, and we would never feel insecure. Have a wonderful day.